Well, today is a great day of unity as I'm here with the police chief, the leadership of the Board of Police Commissioners, members of City Council, and the leadership of the unions representing the 2,500 men and women of this department. And I am just really pleased today that Detroit City Council unanimously voted to pay a $2,000 retention incentive bonus to every one of our full-time officers who are on the job effective February 21st, and $1,000 each to our police assistants. And this is something that was well deserved. When I sat down with these unions in 2014, the starting officers were making $28,000. And I said to them, if you'll stay with us, we'll continue to move your pay up as the city can afford it. Twice we've reopened the collective bargaining agreements before they were due because things got better, and we moved the starting officers to about $45,000. Still not as high as a number of the suburbs, but we've gone a long way to close the gap. And today, this wasn't any trade. We did this because it was the right thing to do. I look at what's happening around the country, and there are a lot of cities where the crime rate continues to rise, where you have police officers that honestly just are not engaged in fighting crime every day. But here in the city of Detroit, the people of the city are strongly behind our police officers. There's no talk of defunding the police in the city of Detroit. What we want to do is put more money behind our officers and more money behind public safety, and it's a clear statement today. And when a couple of weekends ago, I visited a couple of our officers in the hospital. They had confronted somebody who was a carjacking suspect who tried to escape, and the two held onto the car and were dragged by this carjacking suspect and were both injured. And I thought, think about the commitment these officers have made. There's only one reason to do that, and that's to protect our citizens against the criminals who are committing the gun crimes in the city. And we have every single arrest for a gun crime. Our officers take their lives into their hands. People are very unpredictable, and you don't know what they're going to do. And yet we saw in the last 6 months of last year, unlike the rest of the country, the violence in the city went down. The first 10 weeks of this year, the violence in the city is continuing to go down. We have a long way to go, but it is going down because the men and women of this department care about the citizens of the city of Detroit. And with today's vote by City Council, it's a clear statement to the officers in this city that the people of Detroit love you, we're behind you, we're glad we could afford to do this. And now I got to go back to the negotiating table with my friends here in what will be complicated negotiations, where we're going to again try to make sure the officers are treated fairly for the long term. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to the guy who's probably proudest of everybody in this room, our great police chief, James White.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you all for being here today. And the mayor's correct. I am very proud. I'm very proud of our city. I'm very proud of our city council, our board of police commissioners, and all that support the men and women that do this job. And I'm very proud of this mayor who, when I walked in the door, gave me 4,000 hours to provide overtime for officers to work, crowd control, and not have that compromise our patrol services and our dispatch runs through our community. So thank you, Mr. Mayor. It means a lot to us to stand here together to get this done. This unanimous vote is a resounding support for our officers who put it on the line every single day. Having been here over 25 years, I still find myself being amazed and surprised at the level of work and commitment that they put in on a day-in and day-out basis. When the mayor and I were at the hospital on the one incident that he spoke of regarding two of our officers who were dragged by a carjacking suspect, one of the first comments out of the officer's mouth was, "Oh, I'm fine. I'm looking forward to getting back to work tomorrow." and we laughed, and his wife did not laugh. And needless to say, he's taking some time and he's resting. So it's amazing that the commitment that we see when we're looking at morale plunge around the country, and resignations and retirements are up due to tremendous anti-police rhetoric around the country. We have the level of work that we get and the commitment that we get from our officers. It's my hope that this incentive program that is being implemented will curb the alarming number of officers that are leaving. And we're doing a really good job with recruiting, but retention is really what we want to emphasize. Our officers put in tremendous hours and are exposed to a number of different challenges and things. As a result, they become the most experienced in the shortest amount of time, which makes them the officers that a lot of our surrounding agencies want to recruit. So this incentive retention bonus is what we're looking for to boost the officers' morale and certainly let them know that we care about them. And I will tell you, I've had the pleasure of meeting with our new city council, and to a woman, to a man, have all expressed support for this police department. I couldn't be prouder. And so with that, I will turn it over now to Councilman Durhal for some comments.
Thank you, Mr. Chief, and good afternoon to everyone. First, I would like to say greetings on behalf of all of our members of Detroit City Council, particularly Council Member Scott Benson, who is here in attendance representing the 3rd District. We could not have been happier today to approve unanimously this incentive for our officers. Oftentimes it goes unspoken that these are the warriors here in the city of Detroit. They keep us protected in our communities. They keep us protected from violence. They keep us whole and safe, and we are very appreciative of them. We have some of the finest officers in the country, and one thing that often goes, unnoticed is their level of commitment. They have stuck here through times where it was difficult. They have stuck here where pay rates are not commensurate to other municipalities, not just nationally, but locally here in Southeast Michigan. And so today, our city council took the step forward, along working with the mayor's office, to show them how much we appreciate them, but often also take the step to work towards retention here within the city of Detroit. We provide some of the greatest world-class training, but we should be able to keep our officers here and give them the ability to keep their families supported and keep their families safe as well. And with that, again, I cannot express on behalf of my colleagues, the entire Detroit City Council, our Council President, Mary Sheffield, how happy I am that we passed this today. And I will turn it over to Mr. Mark Young.
Good evening. I echo the words of the mayor, the chief, and Councilman Durham. I also am very proud to represent the men and women of the Detroit Police Department. Mr. Mayor, thank you. I'm grateful for you too, Chief. We got work to do, but together we can get it done. The men and women of the Detroit Police Department go out there courageously, unselfishly, with dedication and commitment every day. We appreciate working towards making this a career and not a job. We appreciate you greatly. Thank you, sir.
Also, I want to thank the Detroit Police Officers Association President. Thank you, Craig Miller, for being here. I do believe that's the end of our quick agenda, and we can start questions? Yes, sir. All right. We will take any questions at this time. Yes, please go to the podium.
Hey, Chief. This is for the mayor, actually. Victor Williams here with Local 4. You spoke about negotiations at this time. Can you talk about the details as to what needs to be negotiated?
The police contracts are up July 1st. We're already at the table, and we have a relationship now that goes back 8 years. And we've got to deal with the reality that we have financial responsibilities, and nobody wants to go back under state oversight. At the same time, we have an obligation to continue to move our officers closer to pay commensurate with the surrounding communities.
Got it. Thank you, Mayor.
Hi, to either one of you. Where are the officers going? Are they going to any particular department, police department in the suburban area?
Well, we know there's a few departments that favor our officers. One in particular, large percentage have gone to Warren Police Department. And that's, they recruit our officers. As I indicated, we have some of the best trained. But the idea is not, solving for that, one individual department or saying that Warren is doing anything improper. If I were at Warren, I would recruit Detroit police officers as well. But I think the idea is to make sure that we do what we can to keep our officers working for Detroit.
And can you put a cost?
Hang on a
Oh,
second.
I'm sorry.
So this is the first time the chief and I are going to disagree. But I don't think what is happening is right. Here is fundamentally what occurs. The great majority of police departments hire people who have already graduated from an academy class. They may well have had to pay their own tuition to graduate from that class. In the city of Detroit, we pay those academy classes. And so to have other cities come in after the city of Detroit has paid the expense of the training and then take them out, I don't think is right. Hopefully, though, I think there's some real momentum in the legislature to allow us to recover the cost of that training when other communities come in behind. But my attitude is this: train your own people, run your own academy, don't be subsidized by the city of Detroit. So I'll turn it back to the kinder, gentler chief.
And then also, if I can, if you even know or can put an amount on it, what's the cost to train a Detroit police officer, and that cost that the mayor was saying then gets sucked away by another city?
Yeah, I'll get that number to you. We have the total whole number, is that correct? Okay, all right.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, couple questions. Where's the funds coming from in this general fund? Where's it, and what's the total amount?
Yeah, just under $5 million is the total amount. And it's coming from a number of different sources. We're looking at some ARPA fund or American Rescue Act funds. We're also looking at our overtime and then general funds as well.
And a second question, real quick. You said a bunch of people are leaving. Can you give us an idea how badly, any numbers in terms of how many a month, how many a week?
Yeah, so in just this year alone, we've lost in 2022 19. You look at 2021, 103. And I can provide you with some information across the board up to 2018. But again, with the lion's share going to Warren and Oakland County Sheriffs.
And just to clarify, those aren't people retiring. Those are people leaving, going to other
No, these are
departments.
people leaving, going to other departments.
Okay. All right, thanks, Chief.
Hi, Chief. When was the last time Detroit officers got bonuses like this, and how did you all come up with the $2,000 number? Was there some sort of data approach to figuring that amount out, or was that something that you all just agreed was like a good number for a bonus?
Well, obviously, we have to be fiscally responsible. We looked at the numbers, and we thought when you looked at across the country at some of the other smaller incentive programs, we thought that this was a good number for us to come forward with. I'm sorry, what was your other question, sir?
Just how did you come up with
Yeah.
the number?
Yeah, we just thought this was a good number for us, and we looked at a number of different factors to arrive at it.
All right, and I know that you all are talking about officers leaving and going to other places, but is there some other problem when it comes to officers retiring, or is this simply all about officers leaving for other departments?
No, I think this is just overall retention. I mean, retirement is optional. Officers sometimes they get to 25 years and they decide to move on. But then you also layer it with the last couple of years of what's happened with law enforcement, and people arrive at different decisions in their life based on other factors.
All right, and just last question, what is the commensurate rate to pay officers that you're trying to eventually get to?
Well, we're in negotiations, and Mayor's already talked about what that looks like, and we've got good relationships with our unions, but at the same time, we're going to be fiscally responsible. We know what that looks like if you're not, and we certainly don't want to go back to those days. So, we're going to make sure that we come up with a competitive salary, and that makes sense.
All right. Oh, and just one last question, just for fact-checking reasons. How many officers currently work in the department?
We have over 2,000 sworn members.
All right, cool. Thank you.
And Chief, last question. Is there anything outside of money, out of pay, that you think is attracting these officers? I know that some may say that these officers are trained with Detroit with the intent to go to other cities. But what do you think the attraction is aside from money?
Well, I do think some officers, you know, they have their mind set on going to other departments, coming in the gate. I mean, the mayor talked about the training. You know, we're state-of-the-art training, best training, I believe, in the country. And I'm not just saying that. I look at the training standards around the country as we develop our training standards. And so some officers walk in the door knowing that they're going to work with another department. I don't disagree with the mayor on that issue. You know, we've got people that come in the door using us for training purposes. And we have some of the best experienced officers. And so, you know, what an officer in Detroit sees in a month, it may take 2 years for an officer in a suburban agency to see. And not just bad, as well as good. The exposure, the training, and the various units that we have in the department. You know, we've got our K-9 unit, we've got the Real-Time Crime Center, our Crime Intelligence Unit, our Evidence Tech Unit. I mean, we just have a number of units, our aviation, that smaller agencies just don't have. And so as they develop those units, you've got an experienced Detroit officer that can help launch them. I mean, there are a number of different factors.
Are officers telling you any particular reasons as to why they are making the move, aside from money?
You know, sometimes it's economics. And really, I mean, oftentimes when I talk to them on the exit interviews, I hear, you know, I love the department. You know, but sometimes it's economic. Sometimes they want a slower pace. But at the same time, I mean, we've got dedicated men and women in the Detroit Police Department. That's evident every single day. You know, we've got second, third generation police officers in this room right now whose family members are on the job or their parents were on the job. So I don't want to paint the picture of gloom. I mean, we've got dedicated men and women. But the fact of the matter is, we do attrit out a number of officers to suburban agencies around this city, and it's my hopes that we can stop, you know, losing those quality and well-trained officers.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, everybody.